Hey everyone, it's Jen. Welcome to my channel. I'm a woman in long-term recovery. I'm also a CARC, a SERPA, rape crisis counselor, a Narcan trainer, and I came on here today because I need to. And I came on here because I feel like we get these like preconceived notion of like when we get sober everything is going to become okay, and we set ourselves up to think that all we have to do is get sober and everything is going to be great. In less than a week I will celebrate 5 years of sobriety and I'm stoked, right? Like 5 years, I feel like that's really something, right? But then I also think like, wow, I've done so much in 5 years, but I've done so little in 5 years. And I think to myself, well, if I have these feelings, other people have to have them too. Can you guys see Pumpkin and Frankie? Okay, they were loving on each other for a second. They're like best of friends, right? So anyway, um and then I was talking with Erin and I was saying like how I'm unmotivated and I'm just whatever. And she was, well, you're just having like, a down dopamine day, like where you're not getting a lot of dopamine today. And I was like, yeah, well, it's not today. Like I was really struggling a few weeks ago when I made that video and I came on and I told everybody what was going on in my life. And that video really helped me to see certain things and really helped me to make some really important changes. And I've made them. And I think because I've made those, now I'm getting back onto the proper path that I need to be. But again, I wanted to share this because I feel like just because you're getting onto the proper path doesn't mean you're going to wake up and be there. And I think because sometimes these things happen, like we make big changes in our life or big events, we think that, okay, we made the change, right? We made the change. Everything should be better. Everything should get back to the way it was. And that's not really the case. I feel like once we make these changes, it's a journey, like with everything. And it's a journey for me too. And I'm just struggling with it. And I've had lack of motivation. I'm super burnt out. And that's why like burning yourself out is never a good thing, because it literally takes you get burnt out, right? And then for you to start to like recoup and rebuild, you have to go from like all the way down low where you've got nothing, you're completely spent, you got nothing left, the whole 9 yards, and then rebuild from the bottom again. And I feel like that's my current situation. I have a piece of hair and it's driving me crazy. Okay. So, me rebuilding from the bottom again while still being a mom, still being a wife, still being an advocate in my community, still doing all these things, it's rough. And I have days that I'm just like, blah, like I'm totally just not into it and I'm just not there. And I just want you guys to know you're not the only ones if you feel that way. I feel like we don't talk about this enough. We don't make mental health and mental well-being a thing. And we wait until it's shit and it sucks. And then that's when we speak up, or that's when it becomes an issue, or that's when it becomes a topic. And it shouldn't be. We shouldn't wait till it gets to the point that it's down in the toilet and we can't breathe because it's so bad. So I feel like having a mental health check-in for yourself, like just a vibe check, a mood check, whatever trendy, cute little thing you want to put on yourself to say like vibe check, what's going on in my mental health? What's going on in my head? How do I feel? How do I this? Because when I get to points like this, I woke up this morning, I was like, I'm going to shower. Last night, I was like, I'm going to shower. I'm going to shower. And then I was like, it's cold. I'll shower in the morning and this way I won't have to straighten my hair. Okay. This morning, it's cold. I haven't watched TikTok in a while. I haven't done this. Every other excuse. And that 9 a.m. meeting, I was like, well, shit, let me throw on a shirt and a bra and like be present. I'll shower after that. And then I was like, I don't want to change into new clothes. I'll just shower tonight. And it's this silly little thing. And it's not even really a big deal. Like it hasn't been weeks or days or months, because sometimes that's really what it is. And that's okay too. But, things we tell ourselves to make us be okay with the decision that we are making because the chemicals in our brain aren't working properly at that moment. And I'm starting to see it more, and I'm starting to recognize it more. There are things that are not functioning in my head the way they're supposed to be. Seasonal depression is without a doubt upon me. And here, I've been trying to keep my ring light on, honestly, as much as possible. I have my little sunlight thingy, but guess what? I don't know where it is because half our stuff is still packed. So that's another problem for me. Everything is chaotic. Nothing is put away. I am very much an organized person. It might be organized chaos, but it's organized for me. And when things are all over the place like that and everything looks messy, it makes my head feel messy. And I really start to struggle with it. And unfortunately, there are some things I physically just cannot do because if I could, I would, but I can't. The same way, that's why I have a partner. I have to depend on him to do certain things the same way he has to depend on me to do certain things. And I'm struggling and I've been struggling. And the weather, I know for me, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this. Maybe it's going to sound silly. When the weather changes, I immediately get a little bit depressed. It's just, seasonal depression, typical seasonal depression stuff. But when it starts to get cold and I'm cold all the time, that steals my motivation. That makes me want to do nothing except cuddle up. I'm always cold. I finally just forced myself to go outside and collect eggs. And I think it's like way warmer than I thought it was. I have the heat blasting in the house for no good goddamn reason, but that's who I am. I'm a cold person by nature and I don't like it. But it's just, little red flags of my own that I can see. And I talked about this in my last video that I maybe potentially needed to go get some sort of help and go talk to somebody. And the one person that I trust, he's on maternity leave. So I'm going to wait till he gets back. And then I'm going to have to make an appointment for myself as much as I don't want to. Because that's what being a grown-up is about, right? You're proactive in your health, whether it be physical or mental. You almost kind of do like a self-check where, you see how everything is doing. How do you feel? Are you tired? Do you feel like you're eating okay? Do you feel like this? Do you feel like that? And another thing that I've been researching, so I've been on my heart medication now, probably for about a year. That potentially also could be playing into a role with my mental health. So I need to make a cardiologist appointment and see if there's any validity to that for my type of dosage or whatever the case may be. Because I'm pushing through, I'm giving it my all the way I always do when things like this happen. This is not new in my life. This is not new in my family. My family, on my mom's side, has a long, long list of poor mental health for the women. It's a family trait, and I remember hearing things and asking questions, and some of it got real severe for some of my aunts and whatnot. And I don't want history to repeat itself. And I'm trying to be as self-aware as possible. And this is almost like an accountability video for me as well. And I don't know. I just feel like this is something that we need to talk about. Again, we don't just get sober and the things that led us to our addiction go away. Those trauma bonds and the trauma suffered and all of that, they're real. And they come back whenever they feel like it, right? I will be absolutely fine. Nothing bothers me about this, that, and the third. And all of a sudden, I know where I'll have a weird dream, or I'll smell something, or I'll catch myself in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I look like my parents. And it'll remind me of something. And it's not something good, but it's not something that I want to deal with. But when I don't deal with it, it deals with me, right? So moving forward, I make lots of lists and I try to do better, because that's all we can do when things like this happen. We can just try to do better. And it's a journey, it's a battle. It's not, you don't get to the point of feeling and struggling like I have been and then talk about it and the next day it's gone. It waxes and wanes, it comes and it goes, and I'm struggling to try and get it quiet again. I don't know. That's like as honest as I could possibly be. And I know I keep telling you guys, like, I'm coming back, because I am. I just am struggling right now with finding parts of myself. Yeah, I don't, some days are better than others. Sometimes I feel really accomplished, right? Like, but then other days I feel like, dang, like, I almost don't want to speak because I know I'm so off my game. And in my intelligent mind, I know none of this is my fault. I know I was born a certain way that made my body not produce chemicals the same way as everyone else's, right? We all produce chemicals differently. And I know a lot of the trauma that I suffered as a child was detrimental to those chemicals producing properly while my foundation of life was forming. And then my substance use also put the kibosh on that. And it is what it is. But knowing these things, moving forward, I have to do things differently to make it better. So that's why I come here, because I want everybody else to know they're not the only ones, right? This doesn't just happen to them. It happens to me. It happens to people who are successful and who have it together, supposedly, and all that other stuff. It doesn't just happen to people who are in active addiction, newly in recovery, people who have never used, people who only drink alcohol, people who only do drugs, people who only this. It happens to people, period. And I am people, and it happens to me. Now, I just do better, right? I move forward and I do better. Whatever better looks like for me at the moment, whatever I'm capable of doing more of to do better. And for me today, it was making a video. Tomorrow, I don't know what it looks like. Moving forward, I'm not sure what it looks like. I think right now, it is going to look like lots of sticky papers with little lists on them about what I can do to accomplish small goals every day, like brushing my teeth and showering, because sometimes it has to be that simple. Other times it could be write an entire grant proposal, plan an entire community event, but sometimes it's as simple as taking a shower. And that's okay, right? If you guys are struggling, please do not struggle alone. You are not alone at all. I'm here. Reach out. I will do my absolute best to get back to you. If I don't, it's either because I didn't see it or because I'm too having a bad day. Hopefully, this will start to help me as well, and I will be back to my back. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. And remember, we recover loudly, so those behind us do not suffer in silence. Bye, guys.